Hey guys, so I thought I'd do another one of these because I enjoy rambling about anime, clearly, and I enjoyed doing the other one, so I thought, why not do some more? And I feel like there's so many genres I want to touch on anyway, so today we're going to be doing Josei, but I also eventually want to get around to doing like other types of shoujo, like Mahou shoujo. We need some Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura in our lives, some shonen slice of life. I'm not going to get into battle shonen because I feel like everyone has their biases and like, yeah, I feel like that's a bit of a messy one, so I'm not going to get into battle shonen, but I thought slice of life shonen doesn't really get that much exposure anyway, so why not touch into that, and some like seinen anime too. So yeah, and for those of you guys who are new to anime or want to start watching anime and you're like, what are these words you're saying, shonen, shoujo, what do you even mean? So they're like genres within anime, and it's kind of like based on the demographic it's aimed at. Obviously, you don't need to fall into the demographic, but they just seem to, I don't know, categorize them that way. So shoujo is aimed at young girls, like little girls, not little girls, young girls. Shonen is at young boys. Seinen is at young and older men, and Josei is aimed at young and older women too. So, you know, that's what those words mean. Today's Josei, so things are aimed at older women. Obviously, you don't have to be a woman to watch these, so don't let that put you off or anything. So the first one I'm going to start off with, I always get the title wrong. It's like tongue twisty. I mean, I always get tongue twisted anyway because I can't even speak English properly, even though it's my first language. Yeah, so hang on. It's because there's this one character, yeah, and it's so similar to this character from this other anime, and I always get like, is it Hachiko? But it's not Hachiko, it's Michiko, right? And I always end up saying Hachiko like an idiot because Hachiko's in Nana, but yeah. It's Michiko to Hatchin. Watch it, it's really good. It's like, it's quite different because it's based in a fictional country in South America, which you don't get often because a lot of the animes, well, a lot of the animes I've personally seen are like based in Japan or like some sort of alternate universe of Japan or like America or London, like, you know, the UK, or I don't know, just somewhere in Europe usually, but you don't really get that many animes that are based in South America. So I thought, you know, it's a bit different. So Michiko to Hatchin. Before I say Hachiko to Michin. If I say Hachiko to Michin, just ignore me please. But it's about this woman who breaks out of jail and she kidnaps this child, and you're like, this doesn't sound right, if that. And I'm like, it's heartwarming, guys, watch it. And you're like, heartwarming? In what sense? A lady kidnapped a child, are you okay? But trust me, it is heartwarming. It's actually very different. It can be like, there's little bits of violence, but not really. But anyway, so she kidnaps this child, and the child happens to be Hatchin, not Hachiko, Hatchin, who is the child of the man that this lady is in love with. Not her child, but just the child of the man she's in love with. So he's actually the reason why she breaks out of jail in the first place. So these two people, the lady and the child, go on this journey trying to find him and trying to, like, you know, settle into their new lives, I guess, and like this new relationship they both develop with each other. They start off very hostile and like they grow into each other. So yeah, it's really lovely, and that's what makes it heartwarming, okay? These two people that don't like each other end up liking each other. But yeah, definitely watch Hachiko, Michiko to Hatchin. Watch Michiko to Hatchin, guys. The other anime, the second one, is Nana. Those of you guys who have seen Nana know why I've made this face, because Nana. I feel like most of us have a toxic relationship in Nana. We hate it. We don't hate it. We hate the emotions it puts us through, but we adore it at the same time. We stan that anime hardcore because it makes you feel things you don't ever want to feel, and yet some of us still rewatch it. I still rewatch it. I don't know why we do this to ourselves, but we do. We emotionally abuse ourselves by rewatching Nana. But yeah, so trust me, it's worth like the anger it makes you feel. You'll be shouting at the screen, you'll be throwing things everywhere. It's a journey, guys, it's a journey. definitely one worth going on. But it's basically about these two girls. They're both called Nana. So because both of them are called Nana, the cool one, the punk rock goth Nana, who reminds me of my friend Kira, they both just exude coolness. It's really unfair. The way they dress, she's always in like Vivienne Westwood, Nana. It's like her trait. She's always in Vivienne Westwood. Yeah, they're just both very cool people. Not the other Nana. The other Nana is just moist. She's very like girly. She's very I mean, they're both emotional, but like she kind of shows her emotions more. And they call her Hachiko, so they don't get confused. And Hachiko basically means 8, because Nana means 7 in Japanese. So yeah, that's how they differentiate between each other. Also because they look very different too. But yeah, so it's just like how their friendship develops, the things that they both go through, how they support each other through like the new life they're both leading in Tokyo, because both of them are from out of town. They both move into Tokyo for the first time, trying to figure out their lives as young women. You know, it can be difficult, especially when you're new to a big city and you've never lived in a big city before. So it is a journey. Not for them, for you. But yeah, make sure you watch Nana. The third one is Princess Jellyfish. Princess Jellyfish is so wholesome. So wholesome. Unlike Michiko Hatchin, unlike Nana, although Michiko Hatchin is kind of wholesome, but like not as wholesome as Princess Jellyfish. It's lovely. Again, it's about a girl who moves into Tokyo for the first time from like a small town outside. And her mum died when she was younger, so like throughout the manga and the anime, sorry about the lighting, by the way, I can't control the sun. Yeah, throughout the anime, I lost track of myself. She kind of like speaks to her mum. She's like, "Oh, mum, I've gone through this today," as though it's kind of like a Dear Diary type of thing, but to her mum. So she's very, very introverted. She's a recluse, leaving the house only for like essential reasons, like getting groceries, kind of like us in lockdown, except she not chooses that way of life, because I feel like you don't choose to be socially anxious. But like, you know, that's kind of like her daily life as opposed to our hopefully not permanent life. Fingers crossed. I don't know. We'll see how the pandemic goes. But yeah, so I don't know, I feel like young me relates to her. Even now, actually, I'm still really bad at talking to strangers. Not strangers, but like new people. But yeah, so she becomes friends with this person and their relationship is lovely. I just have a thing for lovely relationships, clearly. But this new friend of hers kind of like brings her out of her shell. Not in a forceful way, as in like, oh, you need to like, you know, be more extroverted. This friend accepts her and her introvertedness and isn't forcing her to come out of her shell in the sense that, oh, come on, let's make loads of friends or like, you know, develop all these relationships, but more so, you need to be the best version of yourself. Like, do the things that make you happy, because often with social anxiety, you don't do things that you want to do. And people don't realize this. They're like, oh, why don't you just do it? Because it's so easy to speak from the outside and be like, oh, just do it, like gather up the courage. It's not that easy. It's very difficult to come out, like deal with social anxiety and like actually become a person that, you know, you're still always going to have moments of like being anxious when you're around people, but more so like being able to tackle it head on. It doesn't happen that easily, but she slowly becomes a better version of herself. And she more so, I feel like, it's accepting who she is and liking yourself and growing to love yourself, which she does through this anime and even in the manga, because quite often with Josei and shoujo animes, they never complete the animes, so you kind of have to like move on to the manga, which is why I never end up completing them, like knowing what happens at the end of the story, because, you know, I'm lazy, so I like watch the anime and I'm like, oh, do I need to read the manga? But yeah, I eventually go around to it, kind of like reading Princess Jellyfish right now with a friend. But yeah, I definitely recommend it, especially for like those of you who might be like, I mean, you don't have to suffer from social anxiety, but if you do, like, it's just one of those things where you just really relate to the anime / manga. So I mean, it's just a woman growing into herself. It's lovely to watch. Why not? Do it to yourself. It's wholesome. It makes you happy. The fourth one is actually a shoujo. The only reason I'm like slotting in a shoujo here is because when I did the shoujo video, I didn't realize I was going to do another one of these, so I threw Watakoi in because I feel like everyone needs to watch Watakoi. So I'm going to tell you again, freaking watch Watakoi because it's my favorite anime ever. That's actually technically a Josei, but I threw it into the shoujo video because I was like, am I going to do another one of these videos? No, but here I am yet again doing another one of these videos. So yeah, the shoujo I'm going to put in here, right, is Toradora, right? It's really cute. It's really cute. Just watch it. It's about this girl who, you know, she has like issues at home, and she's not good at dealing well with her emotions, so she kind of like acts tough, like nothing bothers her, and she's like, you know, always gives people the cold shoulder. But like then she meets this guy. They start off as friends. Cliche, yes, I know. But he kind of like helps her address issues that she's always been scared of addressing, especially her home issues. So that's definitely worth watching. Yeah. A lot of these are like, basically, because of most of these are slice of life, it's just more so about people's lives and their relationships. That's what slice of life essentially is, right? Maybe I'll do a video one day on like, I'm gonna do my whole shoujo. That's not like slice of life, so there's other things happening. But yeah, so the fifth one is Parakis, and it's by the same person who wrote Nana. Parakis is really short. It's actually 12 episodes, I think. It's actually about a high school girl, but because of the topics it kind of like touches on, I feel like that's why it kind of falls into the Josei category, because the things that happen in it are kind of like explicit and not for kids, so can't put that in a shoujo manga, can you? So it's basically it's a coming of age story essentially about this girl who's always studied hard, has always gotten the best grades, has always listened to her parents, and then like she comes across these art school students, and she's just a bit like, you guys are such rebels, don't like you guys, why are you guys always like going against the rules, like ew. But then she kind of becomes friends with them, and she kind of like discovers aspects of herself, and she's like, is studying all I want to do, because she feels as though it doesn't give her a purpose in life. So she kind of like gets into modeling, and like she falls in love with this guy who's she ends up being in an emotionally abusive relationship with. So yeah, Parakis is quite intense. It's actually really intense for a 12 episode anime, you know, now that I think about it. Yeah, but watch Parakis. But I think out of all of them, if you had to watch one, watch Nana. I only say this because I want you guys to go through the emotional trauma that I went through, because I'm nice like that, obviously. But like, if you don't want to go through like emotional turmoil, watch Princess Jellyfish if you're feeling something wholesome. And because I say top 5, then I always like throwing in like something random as well. I thought maybe watch Gokkinjo Monogatari as well, because that's also by the person who did Parakis and Nana, and Parakis is actually a spin-off of Gokkinjo Monogatari, so you know, it doesn't hurt to watch it. It's actually a lot longer than Parakis, but yeah, it's really good. Ayazawa, she does amazing work. Her character designs are great as well, which is partially massively why I enjoy her stories, also because like her stories are just like intense and dramatic. So yeah, those are my top 5 Josei animes, guys. So yeah, watch, let me know if you guys end up liking any of them. Say bye to my son Ryan, my mother's only grandson, as she likes to remind me for some weird reason. But yeah, peace y'all.